My name is Danny. I'm a product manager at the Wix Bookings team, and today we're going to do work a little bit about Wix Code and the Wix Bookings integration. I'll show you a few features that you can enable with Wix Code and Wix Bookings. Joining me today to answer questions is Boris, who's a developer on our team. And I think that we can get started. So I'll just share my screen here. Let's see. Here we go. Okay. So I hope everybody can see my screen. And I think we'll start off really simple by just showing you Wix bookings in general. So I just wanted to show you our back office, our dashboard. And we'll wait until it loads. Let's see. Maybe refresh the page. Let's see if it helps. Looks like we have some technical difficulties. Let's see if we can try it from another way. So I see we have some kind of a problem here loading our services. I'm just going to jump right back into the editor and make sure that everything works. Yeah, okay. So I'll give a short intro about Wix Bookings. So Wix Bookings generally enables you to get booked online. So for example, if like in this example, you're a personal trainer, you want to offer your services, let's say at Sunday from 5 to 10 or at Monday from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. So your customers can go on your site and book you. And you can obviously get paid online, and you can sync it to your Google Calendar, get reminders by email, etc. So this is just a technical, general explanation about what Wix Bookings is. And I want to just explain to you guys about this site that I've built here just for these purposes. As you can see, it's a very plain site. It's just 2 pages. The first page is pretty much blank. I just put in here the home title, and another page, which is the bookings page, where we can see all our services. Now, the next thing that we obviously have to do is enable Wix Code. So I'm going to turn on developer tools here. See that our collection doesn't appear, so I'm going to refresh. Okay, so now you guys can see that we have a new collection here. It's under bookings, and it's called the services collection. Now this collection, once I jump right in, okay, here, you can see that we have all the services that are set up. It's actually exactly the same services that you can see in the Book Online page. And these are the services that appear in the collection. Now, I want to go over a bit about the types of fields that we have here. So we have the service type, whether it's an appointment, whether it's a course or a class, and it all fits to different sort of use cases. So if you do a yoga class for multiple participants, so you would generally go with class, a one-on-one trainer, or even from a different field like a barber would usually do something like an appointment. And if you have something that is more similar to a course where you start, for example, with not knowing something and you move ahead and you finish the course and now you do know something, like a progressive sort of service, then you would choose a course, and obviously you can see that all this information, the service images, the description, the tagline, this is all derived from our dashboard, which unfortunately I couldn't show you. But you can all set it up in the dashboard in the back office of Wix Bookings. Now, there's a bit more information here that you would see only in the collection. For example, the service page URL and the book flow entry URL. Now, the book flow entry URL is something very unique, and I'll show it to you later. A price summary, which basically just shows you the price of the service, and a slug. Now, the slug is a very unique kind of field. It's basically the end of a URL, and I'll show you guys how we use it right now. So the first thing I want to show you guys is how do we build a custom service page. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to jump back here. I'm going to add a new page, and there's a few ways to do this, but this is sort of my favorite way, and I'm going to call it a custom service page. Now, it doesn't really matter how I call it, but once I have this page, I'm going to add a data set, a dynamic page data set, and I'm going to link the services collection to it. And you can see here where we use that slug field that you saw in the collection. Basically, it gives us that unique URL for the dynamic service page, the custom service page. Now I'll create a page. Okay, so now we have a dynamic service page. Now the first thing that I want to do is this is just for myself to better understand sort of where I am, is I'm going to add a title. Let's say a big title. And I'm going to bind it right to the service name. Let's preview and make sure it works. Exactly one-on-one personal trainer. And if I move between the services, bicycle course, boxing class. Okay, looks like it works. Put this in here. Back to the editor. Okay, so now let's add a bit more information to our service page. So the first thing I'll probably want to add is an image. I think that without an image, it's going to be a hard sell. Now, it doesn't matter what image do I pick here, because essentially the image is going to be binded to the collection, and it's going to be dynamic. So I have the service image here. I'm going to preview it just to see that it works. Okay, that's cool. But I see I lost my title. Where's my title? Oh, it's behind it probably. Okay, let's see how it looks now. Now, you guys will have to excuse me. I am not a designer, and it's not going to be a very pretty page, but it is going to be simple, so you guys can understand it as much as you can. I'm going to add a bit more text here. I think we need to add a description for our page. So let's see. I think something like a paragraph would work for me. And I'm going to bind it right to the description. Now I'm going to add a button. Now this is an important part because I'm adding, let's say, I think I like this button. Let's say I have this button. I'm going to rename it. I'm going to change the name to book. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to connect it to data, and I want to connect it to the book flow entry URL. And I'll show you why. I'm going to save. I always forget to save, and it's important to save. Not only on Wix, on Word, on anything, I always forget to save. This is one of my problems. Okay. So I want to show you guys what does the book button do now. Because we binded it to the book flow entry URL, once I click book unboxing class here, I'm navigated to the bookings class calendar. Now this is part of our app outside of Wix Code. This is the regular app that you can install whether you're a Wix Code user or not. But now I've created a custom service page that links directly to our bookings app where you can just complete your flow. I'm not going to complete it here though. I'm going to jump back to the editor, back to our dynamic page. And now this is something obviously that we now have customization options. I'll just show you something simple, but obviously you can take it to a lot of places. So what I'm going to do, I'll create a new database, a new collection. And I'm going to call it extra service info. And you can see where this is going. This is going, I think. And the first field I'm going to add here is, I'm going to call it service. And I'm going to set it as a reference field. And it's going to reference directly from our services collection. I'm going to add it. And then I'm going to add another field. So for our example, we're using sort of like a gym fitness use case. So I'm going to say that there's another requirement for this specific gym, and that's a minimum age. Now, a minimum age is obviously usually a number, so I'm going to add it as a number type. And now I can start doing something interesting. Let's say I'll pick a service here. I'm going to say that a boxing class, that sounds to me like you need to be pretty old for that. So let's say 22. Now I'll add another one. And this sometimes happens, guys, but once you click on save and you click on, or you refresh the page or move away from the collection, it's going to fix itself. And I wanted to add also on the bicycle course, and this sounds much younger to me. So I'm going to do 10. And let's say that for a yoga class, and you will excuse me if the ages are not logical. I'm not much into fitness myself, so I hope the numbers make sense. And the one-on-one personal trainer, I don't know, let's do this 18, I think. So I'm gonna save. Always need to remember to save. I'll just navigate away from here back to here. Oh, I see we have an error. Okay, but as you can see, now we have basically for every service, we have a minimum age that we've defined. So now I can go to our custom service page and let's try and do something like this. Let's add a label. Yeah, something like that. I'm gonna just say min age, and I'm gonna add another label. Let's make this a bit shorter. Add another label, and let's put in just a number for this. Let's put in, for example, 16. But obviously, it's not connected to data just yet. What we need to do now is we need to add another data set. Move it just to the left here. And this data set, I'm gonna connect it to the extra service info. But here is a very important part. On the filter, we need to add a new filter where we are gonna say that the service field needs to be the same as the item in this data set, the dynamic page data set. This is a very important step. Close this here. I'll just iterate that again. We have two data sets here. This new data set that I've added that is linked to the extra service info collection. And we have the dynamic page data set that is connected to the services collection. Now, what we want is that the same value that is currently active on this data set, the page we are actually on, is the value that we read off in this data set. I'll explain what it does. So I'll show you that once I connect this number to our new data set, the extra service info data set, and I'm going to connect it to the minimum age. So now if I click on preview, you'll see, and you'll excuse me, guys, this is not a pretty site, I know. Hold on, why did I go here? Wait, I have lost my bearings. I'll just preview it again. And you see that now the minimum age for a one-on-one personal trainer is 18. But if I move to the next service, which is the bicycle course, you can see that the minimum age is 10. And that's exactly what we set up in the collection. Now, obviously, this is a very simple example, but with a collection like extra service info, you can add any kind of information you like. So it can be information about the service itself, like more descriptions or more images, or maybe a video or something in the future. So it can be, you can go any way you want with it. And it's a pretty easy solution. And it gives you sort of real value in terms of that you're adding information that with Wix Bookings on our side of the app in the dashboard, we try to catch as many use cases as we can. So for barbers and for gyms. So we're not asking for the user to enter something like a minimum age to display it on our service page. But now you can create it. You can create your own service page, custom service page, and do it yourself. Now, the next thing I want to do is I want to add another collection. And I want to call this collection locations. And we'll wait a bit. Cool. So I'm going to state here that for this particular business that we're building here, we have two locations. We have the park and we have the gym. So that some people like to work out in the gym, some people like to work out in the park. I don't like to work out at all, but it doesn't matter. And now let's add, I think that a location, the first thing that it needs is an image. So I'm gonna add an image field. And I'll try and find images for the park. I think this works for us. And I'll try to add an image for the gym. Let's see what we can find. I like this. Okay, and guys, always remember to save, sync, do whatever is required. So all the data is here. And now I think that our next step is to create a location page. So what we'll do, we'll go back here. Now let's do this another way. I'm gonna click on pages and I want to add another page. I'm actually doing it on the old way, it doesn't matter. Locations. Like in the previous dynamic page, I'm just gonna add a dynamic page dataset. I'm gonna connect it to locations. And obviously the title is gonna be the URL, the slug in the URL. I'm gonna create a page here. And like I did before, just to understand where am I, I'm gonna add a small title or a big title in this case. Be connected to the title. And let's add the image right away. And again, it doesn't really matter what kind of image do you add in a dynamic page if you're going to connect data to it. So I've connected the image of the location to this image on the page, and once I click preview, okay, so we have the gym and the image has updated, and if we move to the park, cool, we have the park image. Okay, so now what else do we need? We need a way to access this page, right? So what I'm going to do in the home page, I'm going to add a repeater. Let's see, lists and grids. It takes me always a long time to understand which repeater I should use. I'm going to use, I think I'll use this one. Move it to the center here. And I want to connect this repeater to the locations collection. So I'm going to click here, connect to data, and it tells me already, it shows me that I still don't have a data set on this page. So I'm going to create a data set. I'm going to choose the locations collection, create a data set, and now we have a data set. Now, what I want to show here is that the image is going to be connected to the image of the location, the title here, the button, the label is going to be connected to the title of the location, and the link is going to lead to the dynamic page of the locations. I'm going to preview it, and we should see exactly 2 locations that we have for our business, the gym and the park. And if I click on it, we get to the park dynamic page that we've built earlier. Now, you're probably asking, how is this all connected to Wix Bookings? So I'm going to show you. We're going to go to the dynamic location page. We're already on it. And we're going to add a repeater. Let's use a different repeater this time. Let's use this one. Move it a bit down here. And now I want this repeater to show all the services that are under this location. But now what I'm missing is a connection between the locations and the services. So I want to jump back to locations and add another field. I'm going to call this field services. It's going to be a reference field, and the collection it's going to reference from is services, and it will contain multiple items because we can have multiple services under the same location. So you can do, let's say, the one-on-one training and the yoga class, they're in the gym, but the bicycle course and the boxing class, they can be in the park, for example. I'm not sure it makes sense, but you understand the idea. So for example, for the gym, I'm going to pick the boxing class. I think it makes more sense, and the yoga class. And now don't be afraid that it doesn't appear here. It's just a few small bugs that we have. Now for the park, I'm going to pick, I think, probably the bicycle course and the one-on-one personal trainer. So now I'm going to save, always save. Remember to save. I'm going to sync everything. And now I want to go to the locations here. And here, the repeater, I want to display connected to data. I want to connect it to, let's see. Oh no, I'm forgetting something. Let's add a data set here. I forgot a step. Let's add a data set from the service that will connect. Hold on. Okay, I'll connect it to the services collection. And again, I'm going to apply a filter here. The filter is going to say that the field locations will need to include locations item. Add filter. Now again, let's look over it. We're connected to the services collection, so it's going to show services, but we're filtering it so that the locations item is the same as the location that we are currently in, the same location that we are in this data set of the dynamic page. So now if I connect this repeater to the booking services dataset, and then I'm going to connect the image to the service image, and the title here, I'm going to connect it to the service name, and I think this can be the service tagline. And this can be the service description. This obviously is the price. And this, I'm going to connect it to the custom service page that we've created earlier. So it's going to be the booking services collection page, the one with the slug here. Let's preview. Let's see how it looks. Let's see if it all makes sense. Okay, so we have here a gym. And in the gym, we can do a yoga class and we can do a boxing class. So it kind of makes sense. I'm very sorry if you're strong in fitness and it doesn't make sense. And then in the park, we can do a bicycle course and a one-on-one personal trainer. Now, if I click on a personal trainer here, so I'm back in my custom service page. And then if I click on book, I'm directed to the Bookings app, or at least I should be directed to the Bookings app. Let's refresh it. Just want to make sure that everything works. Okay, you know what? Let's try it live. Let's publish it. Review the site. Let's see if it works live. So let's pick the location first. Let's say I want to go to the park. In the park, oh, what do we have here? We have an issue here. Something wasn't saved. Let's go to the locations page. Let's see that everything is connected. Oh, looks like I've lost my data set. Okay, let's add it again. So I'm going to add a data set. You see, guys, I didn't save. This was the problem. If you forget to save, see what happens. It's going to be connected to services. I'm going to apply a filter here where the locations include the data set locations item. So again, this is an important point. What I'm trying to do here is that make sure that the item in the data set here, or the items in the data set here, are the same as the value, the current item in the dynamic page data set. Now I'm not going to do the mistake I did before, and I'm going to save. Now I'm going to connect this repeater to our new data set. I'm going to set up the images here. Let's see, and we have the tagline. And the description, and we have price here. And connected to the dynamic page that we've created earlier. Now, again, save. We save and publish. View the site. Let's see if it works now. So we have here path. Let's go to the gym. Maybe I'll be luckier with the gym. So we have image. Okay, and now we can see that we have a yoga class and a boxing class here. Makes sense. Let's click on book now. I gotta change that label. It doesn't make sense just yet. We have the custom service page that we built for the yoga class with the minimum age of 16. And I'm gonna click on book. And we're at our bookings app where you can complete the flow. Now there's one last point here that's worth mentioning is that obviously now users, they can navigate from here and choose the location, choose the service, and then book it. But they can also do it from here, right? This is our own Wix Bookings app. Now, if you don't want it here, if you just want them to go only through the repeaters that you created and the custom service page that you've created, it's a pretty simple solution. All you have to do is click here, go to the book online page, actually here, click on the 3 dots here, and just hide it. So now if I save and publish, see, let's refresh the page here, that you can no longer go through the old booking flow. Now you have to go through the new booking flow that you created. You can go to the gym, pick the boxing class, see all the custom information that you've added here, in our example, the minimum age, click on book, and complete the booking flow in the Wix Bookings app. Let's even complete it. And done, I'm booked. So this is all I wanted to share with you today, guys. It's important for me to let you know that while I've showed some kind of a flow here where we did multiple locations, for example, this gym has the gym itself and the park, but you can go other directions. If you have, for example, a repair shop and you want to say, okay, if you have a car, you should see only these services, and if you have a bicycle, you should see only these services, you can do that. If you want to add more information to your custom service page, you can obviously do that. You can add how many images you would like, right? Because in Wix Bookings currently, you can add only the one image. If you want to add multiple images, you can do that. If you want to add more information, like the target audience, is it for example, female or male? Like if it's a barber shop, because sometimes it's different prices and stuff like that. So you can also do that. And that's it from me. If you guys have any questions, you always have the form, the Wix Code form. You can contact support, obviously. There's a lot of knowledge-based articles that you can check out in support. So if you have any sort of information that you need to acquire, I really suggest in the Wix Code forum, I think you'll find your answers. And that's it. Thank you, guys.